How well do you hear me? Do you hear me fine?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, children?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what do we know so far about the story? There is a very rich man, a rich merchant. He has 6 children, half a dozen children, right? How many? Half a dozen. Okay. Adeeb is also sleeping today. Good, Adeeb. Lie down and listen to the story, okay? Maybe I should put your class in the evening, night, or maybe night time, story time, sleep, listen and listen to, lie down in bed and listen to the story and fall asleep listening to the story at 9 o'clock, 8 to 9. How about that? 8 to 9, story time. Your mummy, papa will be also at home to sit with you and learn that, okay, their children are learning well. They're listening to stories in English. So, genius boy, come on, be on camera. So, as we were saying, there is a very rich merchant. He has half a dozen children. How many are daughters and how many are boys,
Three
sons?
daughters, three boys. Three
Yeah,
daughters, three boys.
there are 3 daughters and there are 3 boys. Exactly. So, one of the daughters is called Beauty. And why is she called Beauty?
She, she is very beautiful.
Because she is very beautiful, very good. And the other 2 daughters are Rosalind and
Hortensia.
Hortensia. Okay. Yeah. So Hortensia and Rosalind are lazy, right? And
Yes.
unfriendly. All they want to do is have fun. They just go out and have fun. They don't do anything. They're not very nice to people. On the other hand, Beauty is kind. She's friendly and she's got long red hair, right? She
Yes.
plays the piano. And what else do we know about Beauty? She stays at home, right? She stays at home and reads books. And
Work
these girls, yes, Beta. Yes,
and
Adi.
work.
No,
Homework.
not now, not now. Now they're rich now. So she doesn't need to work, right? Because they're rich.
Yes.
Okay. She doesn't need to work because her father is a rich man. And and Hortensia and Rosalind, they want to marry a rich boy, right? Both of them want a rich husband for themselves. Okay. One day, hello, Aryan. You're a little late, but we are still revising, recapping the story. Oh, he's dropped. Okay. So as we were talking about the story, one day the rich merchant, where do they live, beta? Where do they live?
They live in a big city near the sea. Yes.
Exactly. They live in a big city near the sea, right? And and one
Country.
day, one day,
Country.
one day, there is a tragedy. The rich merchant finds out that his boat, his ship is lost, right, in the sea. And he comes to his children and he informs them, my dear children, we are poor now. We cannot afford to live in this big house. We must leave this big house and go and live in the country in a small house. Then the girls, Rosalind and Hortensia, they get nervous. They say, why? We don't want to leave. We don't want to live in the country. The father says, we are now poor. We need to work. They say, work? We don't want to work. And then the boys, what does the boys say? The sons? They say, what bad luck. What do they say, children? What bad luck. Right. Okay. But, Beauty says, let's not cry. Because the sisters start crying, right? Rosalind and Hortensia start crying. So she says, let's not cry. And, we will work and learn to be happy. We will live happily, in a small house in the countryside as well. Finally, they moved to the countryside, and now life is very different for all of them. And now Rosalind and Hortensia don't have new clothes to wear. They cannot go to the theater because in the city they could do that. And life for Beauty has also changed very much. Beauty now gets up at 4 in the morning, and she does the cooking, right? And after cooking, she goes to the river and does the washing. She washes the family's clothes, right? What happens next? The girls look at Beauty and feel angry with her that she is still so happy. Life is so bad, she's still so happy. So they feel angry about it. I don't understand why. Instead of learning from Beauty, they feel angry with Beauty. So what happened next? I'll tell you. And when we come across anything difficult, you guys will tell me. I will write the words that you don't understand. Okay? Let's listen to what happened next. Maybe we should listen to the old part of the story as well, very quickly. Okay? I will not pause.
Other two daughters are called Rosalind and Hortensia. They are lazy and unfriendly. They like going out and having fun. They both want to find a rich husband. They do not like Beauty because she is beautiful. Beauty has got long red hair. She is kind and friendly. She likes staying at home and reading books. She also likes playing the piano. Beauty's father is a merchant. One day, he loses all his money because his ship is lost at sea.
My dear children,
He says sadly,
I haven't got much money. We're poor. We must leave this big house and go and live in the country.
Oh dear.
say the two sisters.
We're poor. This is terrible.
What bad luck!
Say the three brothers,
We have to work now.
says Beauty's father.
Work?
Say the two sisters.
No, we don't want to work. And we don't want to live in the country.
They start to cry. Beauty is sad, but she says,
Let's not cry. We can work and be happy without money.
the family goes to the country and lives in a small house. Beauty gets up at 4 o'clock every morning to clean the house and cook. Then she washes the family's clothes in the river. The three brothers work in the country. Rosalind and Hortensia do not work. They do nothing all day. They sleep all morning and walk in the woods in the afternoon,
I'm unhappy.
says Rosalind.
I don't like the country because there's nothing to do.
This is true, In the countryside, you don't have much to do. In the city, there are so many things to do. You can go to the club, you can go to the cinema, you can, you can play sports, maybe you can go to the sports center, you can go to the restaurants, you can go to the cafe. There's so many things to do in the big city. But in the countryside, you have rivers, you have lakes, you have mountains, you have woods, but you don't have the things you have in the city.
We can't go to the theatre and wear nice clothes,
says Hortensia. And we haven't got any friends.
Who, Aryan? Who talks like this, Aryan? Aryan, beta, who talks like this? Aryan. Aryan. You said somebody talks like this. Who talks like this? Okay, he doesn't want to talk to me. Aryan is angry with me. He doesn't want to talk to me.
Look at Beauty,
says Rosalind angrily.
She works and she's happy in this terrible place.
She works and she's happy in this terrible place.
Beauty's father says,
Dear Beauty, you work a lot and you're always happy.
Beauty's father, the merchant now who's not very rich, now he's poor. Okay, he says, Dear Beauty, you work a lot and you're always happy.
You're a wonderful daughter.
You are a wonderful daughter. Now tell me, what kind of children parents like, in your opinion? What kind of children do you think parents like? Parents like those children who make a lot of demands, or parents like those children who don't make many demands and work hard?
Parents like
Those children who do not make many demands, right? Some children make a lot of demands. They always want something. And some children, they don't make many demands. They just study hard, work hard, help mommy in the kitchen, help papa, but they don't make many demands. Those children are very lovely to their parents. Parents like those children more. Okay? Yes, if you need something, you definitely ask your mommy and papa. But some children make a lot of unnecessary demands. Papa. Yes,
parents like those children who are
hardworking.
Best score in exam.
Yeah, who score highest in the exam. Even if you don't score highest, at least you score well, right, Adib?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's carry on. Beauty's father says, Dear Beauty, you work a lot and you're always happy. You're a wonderful daughter.
Chapter 2.
So that was chapter 1. We all know Beauty's family. We understand Beauty is her father's favorite, right, children?
Yes, sir.
Why is she her father's favorite? Because
she do what? Because he was hardworking.
He is very hardworking, right? And she's always happy. Okay. Some children always complain, I don't have this, I don't have that. They always complain, they always nag, they always whine. I don't have this, Papa, you didn't buy me that. They have complaints all the time. Aryan, camera on. Genius boy, camera on, please. Adib, turn your camera on.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Sagar is gone. Sagar has dropped by I think his bad internet is bad. Yeah, good. Ankush, no, not Ankush. He is Anshika. Ankush. Genius boy is Ankush. Anshu. Unmute yourself, sweetie. Unmute yourself. Yeah, genius boy, unmute yourself and tell me your name. Ankush or Anshu?
Ankush.
Ankush, right. And Anshika is also there, your sister? Hello, Anshika. Good afternoon, beta. Are you listening to the story?
Yes, sir.
Good. Let's carry on. So we understand about, Beauty's family. Now we are going to learn what happened next in the story. Chapter 2. Let's find out.
Beauty's Rose. A year later, Beauty's father gets an important letter. He calls his 6 children and
Okay. A year later. Okay. A year later, what happens, Vita? A year later, what happens? Beauty's father gets an important letter. Beauty's father gets an important letter. He receives a letter. Okay. उसके पास एक चिट्ठी आती है. He receives an important letter. Who receives an important letter?
Her father. Beauty's
Yeah.
father.
Beauty's father. Okay. He receives an important letter. He calls all his 6 children and says, children, Beauty, Rosalind, Hortensia, my dear sons, come. He calls all his children and he says, listen to this letter. He says, listen to this letter. Aradhya has fallen asleep listening to my story.
and says,
Listen to this letter.
Listen to this letter. What does the father say? Aryan, stop looking at yourself in the video. Look at me. Okay, not at yourself in the video. Okay, he says, listen to this letter. What does the father say?
Listen to this matter.
Listen to this letter. Listen to this letter. Letter he
Listen
receives.
to this letter.
Yeah, listen to this letter, he says. Yes.
Your ship is here. It is not lost at sea.
Your ship is here. It is not lost at sea. Your ship is here. It is not lost at sea. Wow. Lovely news. Good news or bad news? Is it good news or
Good
bad news?
news.
Good news, right. Your ship is here. It is not lost at sea.
Please come to the port.
Please come to the port. Please come to the port. Okay. Port, you understand, children? Port, where the ships are parked, like you park your car in a car park. Yes. In Hindi, we call it bandargah. When I was a child, I didn't understand why bandargah. वहाँ बहुत सारे बंदर रहते हैं, इसलिए bandargah.
Yes, sir.
Why bandargah? But bandargah is a place near the sea where the ships stop. Okay.
Port.
everyone is happy.
Everyone is happy because it is good news, right, children? So everyone is happy. Who is happy?
Everyone.
Everyone who? Everyone who?
Their
father.
3 children, sons and daughters.
The 3 sons, the 3 daughters, and the father, right? Everyone is happy.
Happy.
This is wonderful news.
This is wonderful news. This is wonderful news. Who says? The 3 sons.
Sons.
The 3 sons, yeah, they say, this is wonderful news.
Say the 3 sons.
Yes,
Says their father.
Yes,
the ship with my goods is in the port.
the ship with my goods is in the port. Goods means, you understand, he's a merchant, right? So he sells things in the ship. So he says, the ship with my goods. Goods means things, right? Items, things, goods. The ship with my goods is in the port.
We are rich again.
We are rich again. We are rich again. Who says? Rosalind.
Says Rosalind.
Okay.
We can buy beautiful clothes.
We can buy beautiful clothes. Now that we are rich again, we can buy beautiful clothes.
We can go back to our big house in the city.
We can go back to our big house in the city. Who says? Hortensia.
says Hortensia.
I must go to the port today.
I must go to the port today. I will not waste any time. I must go to the port today. If you were the merchant, you would also be very excited because your ship is back. You have found your ship, okay?
Day.
Says her father happily.
Says the father happily, right? I must go to the port today. He says it happily.
Oh, father, says Hortensia, bring me some new clothes and new hats.
So Hortensia says, oh, father, bring me some new clothes and new hats. Hortensia wants some new clothes and new hats. Now she knows that the father is rich again. So she says, bring me some new clothes and new hats.
Yes,
Says Rosalind.
and some new shoes and jewels.
And some new shoes and jewels. Jewels, you understand, children? Jewelry, you know, earrings, necklace, jewels, okay? Jewels means jewelry and stones and everything, okay? Jewels. So Rosalind says, bring me some new shoes and jewels too. Okay. What happened next?
Beauty's father looks at her and says,
What do you want, Beauty?
Because Beauty says nothing. So Beauty's father looks at her. Beauty's father looks at her and says, what do you want, Beauty? What do you want?
Please, don't spend your money, father.
Please don't spend your money, father.
says Beauty.
Just bring me a rose.
Just bring me a rose.
Beauty's father gets to the port.
Beauty doesn't want anything, right? She just wants a rose. She doesn't want beautiful clothes, new hats. She doesn't want new shoes. She doesn't want new jewels. She simply says, Papa, bring me a rose. Don't spend your money.
Port and finds his ship.
Beauty's father gets to the port and finds his ship. He goes to the port and he finds his ship because he received the letter, remember? So his ship was there, he found his ship. Then,
But there are no goods on it.
but there are no goods on it. The ship is empty. The ship is there, but the goods are not there. It is empty. The ship is empty. Children, the ship is empty. Aryan beta, I can clearly see that you are distracted. And notice the way Aradhya observes the things, okay? You see, if you are focused on the story, then you will learn not only the story, the words as well. Okay, beta? The problem is the father finds the ship, but he doesn't find his goods. The ship is empty. The ship is empty. Do you understand empty? Do you understand empty?
Yes, sir. Khali.
Exactly. The ship is empty. There are no goods in the ship. Now, is this good news or bad news?
Bad news.
Bad news. He finds his ship, but he doesn't find his goods.
It is empty,
What bad luck!
he says angrily.
What bad luck, he says angrily. Obviously, he thought that he found all his goods as well, right? But he only found his ship, not his goods.
I must go home and tell the children the bad news.
I must go home and tell the children the bad news. Now imagine how the children are gonna feel. Who is going to be most disappointed and angry?
Hortensia and Rosal.
Hortensia and Rosalind are going to be most disappointed and angry because they wanted new shoes, they wanted new jewels, they wanted new dresses, they wanted new hats. But father is bringing nothing because the father did not get his goods back. He only gets his ship back. So he says, I must go home and tell the children the bad news. Okay.
On the way home, he crosses a big forest.
On the way home, he crosses a big forest, children. On the way home, he crosses a big forest. Okay. When he's coming home to the countryside, to his children, he crosses a big forest.
It is snowing and windy.
And the weather is bad. It is snowing and windy. And when the weather is bad, then what happens? Sometimes people lose their way. People get lost, okay, in bad weather, especially when you are in the middle of a jungle and it is snowing, it is windy, then sometimes you don't know where you're going. You forget, you lose your way. He is lost.
He is lost.
Where am I?
Where am I? Where am I? He's lost.
He thinks.
He thinks.
Where can I go?
Where can I go? Where is my way home? He doesn't know.
I'm very cold and tired.
And trying to find the way home, he gets very cold and tired because it's snowing, right? Because it is snowing. So it's very cold and he gets tired.
He hears some wolves and he is afraid.
And because he's in the jungle, he hears some wolves. Wolves means, you understand, children? Wolves? Yes, exactly. Wolf is singular. W-O-L-F. Wolf is singular. And what is the plural, children?
Wolf.
Okay, exactly. Let me write it for you. W-O-L-F. This is singular. A wolf. Okay, children. A wolf. But when we have more than one wolf, then we say two wolves, three wolves, a lot of wolves, 10 wolves. Okay, so he hears some wolves and he's afraid.
Suddenly, he hears some wolves and he is afraid. Suddenly, he sees a big castle in the forest.
Suddenly, he sees a big castle in the forest. He sees a big castle in the forest. He sees a big castle in the forest, children. Castle means, you understand, children, castle?
No.
Okay, a castle.
Mahal.
Yeah, not necessarily a mahal actually. A palace is a mahal. A castle is a big structure, a big building, but it is called killa in Hindi. Okay, killa. Castle is called killa. Okay, and a castle is usually built to protect your kingdom. You know, big house, castle. Let me show you some photos of a castle, children. Okay. Give me a second. Can you see these? These are some castles. These are some castles. Castles are very high. They were made in the past. Soldiers would stand here and protect their kingdom. You know, through these windows, they would keep an eye on the enemy. And they built castles on the top of the hill, at the top of the hill, so that nobody can easily enter the castle, you know. And if somebody tried to enter the castle, they would throw the stones from above. Okay, and it would be very difficult. In Rajasthan, you see a lot of castles. So in the jungle, he sees a big castle.
And there are lights. Suddenly, he sees a big castle in the forest. And there are lights in the window.
And there are lights in the windows. What does that indicate? There are lights in the windows. What does that mean? There are people living, right? there are lights in the windows, it means there are people living there. So remember, he is in the middle of the jungle and he can hear some wolves. He is afraid, he's scared. And then suddenly he sees a big castle, very big castle in the forest. And there are lights in the windows. If you were in his place, what would you do? If you were in his place, what would you do? Would you stay in the jungle or would you go into the castle? Because you are in the jungle and it is snowing, right? It's very cold and you can hear some wolves. And if wolves attack you, you will be dead. So what do you think you would do if you were in his place? What would you do, children, if you were in place of that merchant?
I'm going to.
You would go into the castle, right? You would also go into the castle, right?
Yes.
Aradhya, would you go
Yes,
into the
sir.
castle?
I
Would you
would.
go into the... Yeah, you would also go into the
Yes,
castle.
sir.
Aryan, would you go into the castle?
Yes,
Adi, would you go into the castle, Adi?
sir.
Yep. Okay. So I think this man also decides to go into the castle.
Oh, good.
Oh, good. He's happy to see the castle.
He thinks.
Perhaps the people in the castle can help me.
Perhaps the people in the castle can help me. Right? Maybe they will give me shelter. Maybe they will allow me to sleep. Right?
He takes his horse to the stable near the castle.
He takes his horse to the stable near the castle. He's on his horse. He's not on foot. Okay. He's coming home on his horse, right? In the past, people traveled on the horse, beta, right? So
Yes.
he's on his horse. So he takes his horse to the stable near the castle. Near the castle, there is a stable. A stable means, you understand, children? Stable? Okay. I'll show you what a stable is. Okay. A stable is a place where horses live. Okay. Here, I want to show you the photos. He takes his horse to the stable. Can you see the stable, beta? This is a stable. In Hindi, we call it astabal, right? In Hindi, we call it astabal, where we keep horses. Can you see the photo, children? Can you see the photo, children, of a stable?
Yes, sir.
Okay, these are stables, okay? So he takes his horse to the stable. How do we write the stable word? S-T-A-B-L-E. You know table? You know table, T-A-B-L-E? Just put S before it and it is stable, okay? So what does he do? He takes the stable, he takes the horse to the stable. He takes the horse to the stable and then
He knocks on the big door of the castle.
a castle has a big door, right? A castle has a big door. So he knocks on the big door of the castle, but no one answers. No one answers. When he knocks at the door, knock at the door, you understand? He knocks on the door, but nobody answers.
But no one answers. He waits outside the door.
He keeps waiting that somebody will come, open the door, somebody will answer the door, but nobody answers. And he waits and he waits.
Then he opens the door and goes inside.
When nobody opens the door for a long time, then he opens the door and goes inside. Now he's inside the castle.
He sees a big hall with a fireplace.
He sees a big hall with a fireplace. Fireplace means, you understand, children? In cold countries, they have a fireplace to keep the to keep the building, hot, warm. Because when it snows, it is difficult now to keep your building, your place hot, warm. So they have this fireplace. Okay, take a look at a fireplace. A fireplace. A fireplace. Look at these children. They are looking at the fireplace. Okay, so there is a big hall with a fireplace. Inside, what does he notice? What does he see there? A big hall with a fireplace.
There is a long table with a lot of food on it. He is
There is also a long table with a lot of food on it and nobody, no person. A long table with a lot of food on it.
cold and sits near the fireplace.
Remember, it is snowing outside, okay? It is snowing outside, so he's very cold. So cold person, what does a cold person do? A cold person goes near the fire, right? So he sits near the fireplace. Suspense building, there is nobody inside. He is alone, there is a lot of food. The lights are on. It means somebody lives in the castle, but nobody's there.
How strange.
How strange, he thinks.
He thinks.
There's no one here.
There is no one here. Lights are on, there is a fireplace, and the fire is burning in the fireplace. And there is so much food, a lot of food on the table, but there is nobody. Is it normal or it is strange, children?
It is strange.
It's very strange that there is nobody and still the fire is burning, the lights are on, and there is a lot of food on the table, but no person.
Sir, I heard the story.
Ah,
Yes,
then
sir.
where?
In YouTube.
Okay, lovely. Which channel, beta?
No, I not see the channel.
Okay. Did you hear exactly this story or the
Yes, sir,
story?
exactly.
Oh, lovely. So you know what happened next?
How strange.
He thinks.
There's no one here.
He is hungry and sits down at the table and starts to eat.
That's the mistake he makes. He sits down at the table and starts to eat.
Eat.
But the thing is it the right thing to do? If you are in somebody's house, do you think you should touch the food even if there is nobody there?
No,
So
sir.
he makes a big mistake here. Because but there is a reason. He's hungry, right? He's hungry, and that's why he does it.
Then he is sleepy.
And beta, what happens when you eat a lot of food after being hungry? You feel sleepy now, you want to sleep, right? When you have a good meal, then you feel sleepy. Does it happen with you all? Do you feel sleepy after eating good food?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
often, especially in the afternoon, right? You have your meal and you feel sleepy.
He finds a warm, comfortable bed and falls asleep.
He finds a warm, comfortable bed and falls asleep. He finds a warm, comfortable bed and falls asleep. He falls asleep. Falls asleep matlab beta?
गिर गया.
वो सो जाता है. He falls asleep, right? He finds a warm, comfortable bed. Okay, you know, in winter season, you can describe your bed as warm and comfortable. But in summer season, you say, I don't want to sleep in bed. I want to sleep on the floor. I want to sleep on the roof, right? You don't like your bed in the summer season, but in winter, warm, comfortable bed, yeah. So he falls asleep because it's cold outside.
The next morning, he finds some new clothes near his bed.
The next morning, he finds some new clothes near his bed. New
Yes, sir.
clothes near his bed.
How nice. New clothes.
He thinks.
A kind person lives in this castle.
How nice. New clothes. He thinks, wow, new clothes. A kind person lives in this castle, he believes, because only a kind person can maybe, leave new clothes for him, good food for him, fireplace, and he's not coming there, right?
He looks out of the window and is surprised.
He looks out of the window and he's surprised. Why is he surprised? Because it's a beautiful day. not snowing anymore.
It's not snowing, and it's a beautiful day.
It's not snowing, and it is a beautiful day.
He thinks.
And there are flowers in the garden.
And there are flowers in the garden too. And then remember he made his Beauty, his third daughter. What did she say? Papa, please bring me a rose, right? And there are flowers in the garden.
He gets dressed.
You plug the flower.
Yes, he gets dressed and goes to the hall.
And goes to the hall. There are biscuits, chocolate and milk on the long table.
Oh my God, different food now. Biscuits, chocolate, and milk on the long table. New food, okay? Breakfast, biscuits, chocolate, and milk. Okay.
He sits down and says,
Thank you for this lovely breakfast.
He sits down and says, thank you for this lovely breakfast. Who is he saying this to? He's saying this to the person whose castle it is, right? However, that person has not come in front of him yet. Okay? That person is still not there.
He looks round but sees no one.
He looks around but sees nobody. Nobody. The host is not there. The owner of the castle is not there. He looks around but sees nobody.
He eats and decides to go home.
He eats and decides to go home. He says, okay, now it is time for me to go home.
He goes to the stable and gets his horse.
He goes to the stable and he gets his horse. Okay. What happens next?
In the garden, he sees some roses.
Yes. He sees some roses in the garden and remembers.
Beauty wants a rose.
Beauty wants a rose.
Yes,
Beauty wants a rose, right?
He thinks. He takes a lovely one.
He plucks a lovely flower, a lovely rose. What happens next, Aradhya?
Next, one human look devil, and this human will come and say to his beautiful father, why you made pluck the flower?
Right. And
The flower.
and you're right, Aradhya. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Suddenly, he hears a terrible noise.
Suddenly he hears a terrible noise. When he picks a flower, a beautiful flower, suddenly he hears a terrible noise. A bad noise, a big noise he hears.
He turns round and sees an ugly monster.
He turns around and sees an ugly monster. He sees an ugly monster, children. Imagine this. Suddenly you turn around and you see an ugly monster. You will be scared, right? Totally.
Chapter 3.
So 2 chapters are over. We are moving on to the chapter 3. So now tell me, do you think the Beauty's father did the right thing, eating all the food, sleeping in that bed and, picking that flower when he saw nobody? Do you think it was the right thing to do?
No. Not the right thing.
Why not?
Because
Because
not his own property, his own
yes,
castle.
some people put a trap like this, lay a trap like this, and they
To
can do
kidnap a
anything. Yes, exactly. It can happen in today's times as well, right? Somebody can on purpose leave the door open of their house, and inside they can
And
keep some beautiful
There's some chocolate,
toys
beautiful
and
toys.
chocolate and football and bat and all. And if a child looks inside and sees those things, and he says,
Then they
oh,
shut
there is
the door and
nobody, let's
kidnap
go
the
inside. Then you never know. Maybe that child will never come out, right? So it was not a very smart thing to do.
The beast,
You're a bad man.
cries the beast angrily.
So that monster, that beast, says, you are a bad man. Yeah, you're a bad man. He shouts angrily. How does he shout? Angrily. Angrily. You are a bad man. Does your father sometimes talk to you angrily?
Yes, sir.
Do you like that? Do you like that?
No.
Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it when their papa talks to them angrily. Then why does your papa talk to you angrily?
Because I made mistake.
Because you make mistakes sometimes, right? And sometimes papa is just annoyed, no? Because of business, because of work, and that time also he talks angrily, right? You do one small mistake and you make one small mistake and your papa talks very angrily. And you say, why are you shouting? You feel, yeah. You think, why is he shouting at you? It didn't even do anything, right? I also sometimes
Yes,
talk, I also sometimes talk angrily to my daughter without a good reason. I'm angry with myself, sometimes. Okay. You are a bad man, cries the beast angrily.
You come to my castle and I save your life.
You come to my castle and I save your life. You eat here, you sleep here.
You eat here and you sleep here. And then you take one of my beautiful roses.
And then you take one of my beautiful roses.
Rose.
One of my beautiful roses you take? You take one of my beautiful roses? How dare you? Yeah, one of my beautiful roses. One of my beautiful roses are in between.
Beautiful roses है one.
One of my beautiful roses. He has a lot of beautiful roses. And the merchant takes one of them. Right? Yeah. How dare you?
For this, you must die.
For this, you must die.
Beauty's father starts to cry.
Beauty's father starts to cry. Beauty's father starts to cry because the beast says you must die. You have to die now. So he's saying that I will kill you, So obviously he's nervous and he starts to cry.
Why?
Oh, sir, I'm sorry. You're very kind. Please don't be angry with me.
I'm so sorry. You're very kind, sir. I know. Please don't be angry with me. Because he's a beast, he's a monster, he's huge, he's big, right? He's ugly. I can't hear you. Aradhya beta, your internet, Aradhya beta. And children, the thing is,
This rose is for one of my daughters.
this rose is for one of my daughters. I did not, pluck this flower for myself. This rose is for one of my daughters.
My name is not Sir.
My name is not Sir. When the merchant called him Sir, he says, my name is not Sir.
It is Beast.
It is Beast. My name is Beast. It is Beast. Yeah, my name is Beast.
Please call me by my name.
Please call me by my name. Call me by my name. All right. In Hindi, naam se pukaro mujhe. Call me by my name. Okay, children, sometimes at school, do your teachers call you by something else other than your name? Like not Aryan, not Aradhya, not Anshu, not Adib. Do they call you by some other names, some other words?
No, sir.
Nobody, no teacher does that.
No.
Ah, lovely. Because I think I think it's not very nice. But some teachers do it as a joke. Those teachers who are friendly and funny, sometimes they do it, right?
Sir,
Okay.
the sister announced that no one can speak her or him with nickname.
Ah, okay. All right. You're not allowed to use nickname of of your classmates, right? You must call each other by their names. Okay. Can you
Yes,
call
sir.
me, can you call me by name, by my name, like Vinay?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because you are older than us.
You're older than, I'm older
Because
than
you
you
are
guys.
old.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
So the beast says, please call me by my name.
You talk about your daughters. Then one of your daughters must die in your place.
Oh my God. He says, if not you, then one of your daughters must die in your place. Somebody has to die for your mistake. One of your daughters will have to die. Now, do you think any father would like that? That his daughters, his sons die in his place?
No, sir.
Oh no!
says Beauty's father.
Oh no!
They're young and they don't want to die.
They're young and they don't want to die. Nobody wants to die, but sometimes old people sacrifice their lives for the young people. You might have seen in films, in stories, in movies, that sometimes some old people decide to sacrifice their life for the lives of the younger ones in the family. They say, I have lived my life. You still have to live your life. So I will die. But here, the father says, no, they don't want to die. They're
Then
young.
you must come back here and die.
Then the beast says, you must come back here and die. You must come back here and die. The beast is ready to give him some time. He says,
the beast.
I can wait 3 months. Do you agree to come back?
do you promise to come back? I can wait 3 months. Now, tell me, children, if you were the merchant, what would you do? Would you take the condition to come back in 3 months?
Yes, sir.
Obviously, dying on that day is not a good decision. At least die 3 months later, right? Live for 3 more months. Maybe you will find a solution, right? So, are you enjoying the story? Listening to the story and my explanation, the way I'm explaining it to you guys. Are you enjoying it?
Yes, sir.
All right, then we'll carry on with what happened with the story in the story tomorrow. Okay. Bye-bye, children. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.